So, episode 15 of the new Digimon Adventure series just aired, and it might just be the best episode ever, because they finally brought back my man Frigimon! Okay, all kidding aside, this was a pretty good episode. I wouldn't put it on the same level as episode 14, but it was quite a bit better than what I expected. This episode, as many may have already expected, focuses on Joe and Gomamon in the same way the previous episodes have focused on the other partners. Now, I want to preface this by saying that so far in the series, Joe has probably been my least favorite character of the group. That's not to say that he's a bad character by any means, but I just feel like he hasn't been given much focus since his debut episode, and any spotlight he does get is mainly just him and Ikakumon being some sort of distraction or transportation, or him commenting on the fact that he's the oldest and therefore is the leader of the group. Something he never really did in the original series, at least in the English dub. I'm personally not a fan of tropes that involve the character being completely oblivious to the people around him the way that Joe seems to be oblivious to the fact that he's not the leader. So that's one of the main reasons why I haven't really connected with Joe on a personal level yet. That being said, this most recent episode did help me like this Joe more than I did before. So to summarize the meat and potatoes of this episode, while Taichi, Koshiro, and Mimi are making their way through a desert biome, and Mimi is continuing to be the most precious person in the series, Yamato, Sora, and Joe are approaching the point where they're supposed to rendezvous with the others. However, to get to that point, they have to cross through a snow biome. While crossing, they encounter Mamon and my men Frigimon, or Yukidarumon, if you want to be correct about things, and Sora becomes incapacitated and can't fight. While Yamato and Garurumon try and take Sora to safety, Joe and Ikakumon distract the enemy Digimon. After some back and forth, Joe and Ikakumon are surrounded. Joe embraces his reliable nature, and Ikakumon evolves into Zudomon. Zudomon defeats the Yukidarumon and the Mamon super easily, and the episode ends with Taichi, Koshiro, and Mimi arriving in Tokyo? What? Anyway, the first thing that I really want to give this episode credit for is putting Joe and Zudomon in the center stage and keeping them there. Granted, it did take them a little while to get there, but once the episode focused on them, the focus stayed there. There was no Where Garurumon evolution to steal the spotlight from Zudomon like we saw with Metal Greymon in the previous episode, and Zudomon was given probably the best ultimate evolution sequence we've seen so far. Unfortunately, Sora did once again get shafted in this episode by essentially becoming a damsel in distress. But seeing as it's Joe and Zudomon's episode, I guess I can look past it. The next thing I want to talk about is how they handled Joe and his crest of reliability. For those who might not be aware, each kid has a specific character trait they embody that they channel into their Digimon to evolve. This hasn't been outright explained yet in this series, but it's something that old school Digimon fans will remember, so I think they're keeping that same motif. Joe's key characteristic is reliability, something that we haven't really seen from his character until this episode. We saw a tiny bit of it in his debut episode, but honestly, it didn't really stand out. In this episode, though, we see that Joe, despite being surrounded by enemies and scared out of his wits, knows that he can't ask for help since it would leave Sora defenseless. Joe reliably steps up to the challenge of holding the enemy back from advancing on his friends, and this gives Ikakumon the strength to evolve into Zudomon. Now, I know I've already mentioned this, but we really need to put the spotlight on Zudomon's evolution sequence. It's just so well done, and the fact that they didn't evolve him with his hammer and instead he literally manifested it out of lightning was so awesome. Also, did anyone else catch that Archelomon cameo? I wonder if that's going to come into play later. Him cleaving through all the Yukidarumon in a single swipe did hurt the heart a little, but we'll give it to him. The entire sequence was just overall super satisfying. While I don't think that this episode stands up to some of the other peak episodes in the series, I will give it a lot of credit for making me invested in Joe as a character more. Honestly, I can't wait until we see a battle with all the Digimon in their ultimate or perfect forms fighting against some great foe, because that's just going to be super awesome. What did you guys think, though? Did you like this episode? Did it make you like Joe any more than you already did? What do you think the Archelomon cameo might signify? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm still not sure if I'm going to continue these discussion videos with every episode, so let me know if you're liking them. In any case, though, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.